welcome to the start of what will be episode 4. It's meant to be a very hot weekend. It is a straight day long weekend. As you can tell, it's quite a nice day. The idea at the moment is we're going to see if we can get the engine out of this by the end of the weekend. But while I'm enjoying my coffee, I thought I might show you around a couple of my other cars. What's upcoming. Upcoming as in quite a long way off, but let's see what we can do. So yeah, this one's 1980 two-stroke GP125 Suzuki. I got it all up and running before I pulled it apart. I've got all the bits for it, plus more bits. It's got new lights, new blinkers, new everything, but it kind of just got pushed to the side. I did seat pan and cafe rear end and everything for it, but I was never quite happy with what I'd done with the rear end. As you can see by the rust and the mess, I have removed the rear end because I've learnt more about metal shaping, and actually, yeah, I've made a new rear. I just need to find some time to actually do it because I got sidetracked and started on the Gemini. I also have my old farm bike. This thing is not in good shape. Plastics are done, everything. It's been sitting outside here for several years now, but I believe at one point it broke down on the farm and sat in the middle of a paddock for probably nearly 2 years before it got put back in the shed. So everything on that plastics wise needs replacing, but we did sort of have it up and running, so at some point I'll get back to that. This one is a mess. I had no idea what I was doing at the time where I started cutting it up and doing things. So the idea with this is we'll actually cut all of that rear triangulation part off, replace it with better steel because I just didn't know what I was doing. Re-weld it, replate it, redo it, and possibly look at putting it back together. The engine's in the shed. This one is my VT Calais. It's actually a Calais International. So there was a minor accident which is why the bonnet's a different colour. Not that you can really tell at the moment. I replaced all the radiator support panel, all that kind of stuff. Had a second-hand bonnet on that wasn't great. That's why there's a new bonnet over where the motorbikes are. I have all the new headlights, new bumper, new everything for it. But this is a genuine International supercharged V6. It's got the International wheels. What actually was the problem with this is, I don't know if people remember, but years ago there was a really, really big hailstorm in Canberra, and any car in Canberra got hit. So I started fixing all the hail dents, which also resulted in I was starting to fix all the other dents. And while I was off the road, I put a new cam in it, new rockers, new springs, new head gaskets, lower intake manifold, and a few other bits and pieces. And I'd had problems with the transmission, so I put another transmission in it. The issue I had with the transmission is the other transmission I put in it was rooted, so it doesn't go. It starts, actually runs quite fine. It does need a tune and everything at the moment, but yeah, there you go. So you can see some of the hail dents. I haven't got to all of them yet. Some of them were quite bad. This rear corner, I've only partially fixed it, but it was like 10 mil deep. There's quite a few dents down that side as well. The downside is this car's now at the point where, because it's been sitting for so long, everything needs to come off it, cleaned, sand, back, repaint. At least everything above that body line needs repainting, so might as well repaint the whole thing. At some point before I owned it, there was yeah, you can sort of see it there, a repair in it, and obviously there was something under the clear. Those marks do not come out. You can't buff them out, you can't do anything, they are just there. They've been there for the whole time I've had the car. They actually show up a lot worse at the moment, I think, because of the state it's in. But that is actually in the paint. Now, this one, I'll throw a few photos up in of this. I bought this and I did the dumb thing. I test drove a Subaru. I went for a drive around the block for 10 minutes and everything was great. Drove beautifully. I was really happy with it. Handed over money. I made it 20 minutes down the road and turned out that the head gaskets were done, and it started overheating instantly. Because I'm all for throwing good money after bad, I then paid almost $8,000 to fully rebuild the engine, get it up to scratch. I think I'd had it on the road for about maybe 3 months, if at the most. And on my way home, because I live out in the country, as you can tell, a car in front of me hit the brakes to avoid a kangaroo. I hit the brakes not to hit them. I pulled up way behind, hadn't quite come to a stop, probably a good 2-3 car lengths behind the car in front of me. The person behind me did not see that either of us had hit the brakes, so they ran into me. We estimate roughly at around 80 k's an hour. Pushed me off the road into a culvert. Car almost rolled over, but luckily didn't. But this was the result. So it is an Outback Limited. So has the 5-speed sports auto. Not that I'm a big fan of the auto, but honestly in this car I didn't actually mind it, especially because I do quite a lot of city driving. It was a really nice car to drive. Everything about the car was absolutely mint after getting the engine redone. So this was very disappointing, which will take us on to the next car. So next on today's list is the replacement Subaru. When I bought this, the paint on most of the panels was already stuffed. I think the owner had, or at least a owner at some point in its life, had started sanding back because the clear had gone bad. I then started a bit of body work on it because I was originally going to keep it and put the 3-litre out of the other Subaru into this. So started working on it, started fixing all the body work, and obviously now it's sat for months with patches of undercoat, so the whole lot's got to all be sanded off and start again, really. But yeah, started fixing it, started taking dents out, but due to my work, I basically needed to cart tools around all the time, and having all of my tools in the boot of this car at the time was ruining it. So I bought the Triton to cart all the tools around and then change jobs, and don't need tools as often anymore. So I had been trying to sell the Subarus, but I think at the moment what will probably happen is I'm going to put them in storage in the next sort of couple of weeks. So we'll do a trip out to my family farm. They'll get parked out there for might be 6-12 months, and then we'll bring them home and do engine transmission swap. If I can protect all the interior enough, I'll swap all the interior over, and then we'll put this back on the road as just a general daily until I get bored and sell it. There's a few little things on it, like the rear plastics were all cracked, they broke, so I started playing around with fiberglassing, made my own wing. This rear is shit. It lost all its shape because it broke multiple times. It looks like from sitting out in the sun here it's also warped, which is a bit interesting, but anyway. So that's definitely no good anymore. The wing realistically is no good either. It was kind of my learning process for a fiberglass. I like the shape of it. I'm happy with the general outcome, but ideally I'd do it again now and I'd just use that as a mold and make a whole new one from scratch. Biggest issue with this one is it is a 2.5 speed, but it is a Subaru, and K's wise, although at the moment it's only got the general minor oil seepage from the left hand head gasket, it is going to do a head gasket. It probably, might last another 50,000 Ks or something, but although even with all the work I've done in general maintenance, so it's got, we put a new radiator in it before it blew, did belts, it's had timing done, it's had a water pump done and everything like that, but it's a Subaru. So I can't remember exactly how many Ks are on. I think maybe 270, 280,000. So it is at that age where it just needs to be pulled apart, which seems pointless when I've got an engine that I've spent a dumb amount of money on sitting there. So we'll just do that engine swap, put this on the road as a 3 litre. Whether or not it gets the 5-speed auto or another manual, that's the kind of deciding factor. But it's pretty straight, it doesn't have rust, other than a few little bits and pieces and needing a repaint. This will actually go back together quite well. So yeah, at the moment that will be the plan.